Somewhere in a cave in Europe, around 50,000 years ago, a human being had sex with someone who wasn't quite human. Not a myth, not a metaphor, an actual, physical, genetic event, one that every non-African person alive today is still carrying inside their own cells, right now, in this exact moment. You didn't choose it, you never got a say, and it happened before your species had even finished becoming you. Most people assume modern humans just replace the Neanderthals. Smarter species shows up, older species dies out, end of story, clean evolutionary handoff. That's not quite right. We didn't just replace them, we merged with them. And the proof isn't buried in some dusty museum drawer. It's sitting inside your DNA, in your immune system, in the shape of your nose, possibly even in how easily you get depressed. The event is called Neanderthal admixture, and its earliest confirmed window traces back to a cave system in the Altai Mountains of Siberia, and sites across the Levant, dated to roughly 50,000 to 60,000 years ago, right around the time modern humans were pushing out of Africa into Neanderthal territory for the first time. Two populations, two different human species, one overlapping stretch of land, and a lot more contact than anyone expected. The genome that changed everything. In 2010, geneticist Svante Pääbo and his team at the Max Planck Institute published the first draft Neanderthal genome. The results stunned the field. 1 to 2% of the DNA in every non-African person alive today traces directly back to Neanderthals. Pääbo would later win the 2022 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for this exact body of work. But here's the part historians missed. That percentage isn't evenly spread. It's not random junk DNA either. The immune system upgrade geneticist Joshua Akey at Princeton found that some of the most heavily inherited Neanderthal genes cluster around the immune system. These weren't leftovers. Researchers believe they were an actual survival upgrade. Neanderthals had already spent over 200,000 years adapting to European pathogens before modern humans ever arrived. Interbreeding may have handed us a genetic shortcut to immunity we hadn't earned yet, and this is where it gets stranger. In 2010, at Denisova cave in Siberia, researchers sequenced DNA from a single finger bone and discovered an entirely separate hidden hominin group, now called the Denisovans. Modern Melanesian and some Southeast Asian populations carry up to 4 to 6% Denisovan DNA. One high-altitude Denisovan gene, called EPAS1, is now found in modern Tibetans, and it's the reason many of them can thrive at altitudes where most human lungs would fail. So this wasn't one strange night. It was a pattern. In 2016, geneticist Tony Capra at Vanderbilt University linked specific Neanderthal gene variants to a higher modern risk of depression, blood clotting, and nicotine addiction. Some of what we inherited wasn't a gift. Some of it was baggage nobody asked to carry. Here's the part that rarely gets said out loud. Geneticists have combed through thousands of modern genomes, searching for one specific thing: Neanderthal Y-chromosome and mitochondrial DNA. And they found almost none. That means the hybrid children who survived and passed on their genes overwhelmingly came from Neanderthal mothers and modern human fathers, not the other way around. Male hybrids appear to have been largely infertile, a pattern researchers now compare to what's called Haldane's rule in hybrid species. In other words, this wasn't a gentle, balanced meeting of two peoples. It was a genetic bottleneck, and only one direction of it survived to reach you. So that settles it, right? Neanderthals live on inside us. Problem solved? Not quite, because scientists still can't agree on how many separate interbreeding events occurred, or whether it happened in one wave near the Middle East, or in repeated pulses across thousands of years as humans and Neanderthals kept crossing paths. Some studies even suggest one instance of gene flow ran the other direction: modern human DNA showing up in a Neanderthal genome from Germany's Altai region, dated to over 100,000 years ago, long before we thought the two species had even met. The timeline keeps shifting. Every new genome sequenced rewrites part of the story. Right now, if you've ever taken a consumer DNA test and seen a small percentage labeled Neanderthal, that's not trivia. That's an active, functioning inheritance, sitting in your immune system, maybe your mood, maybe the exact shape of your face, We think of Neanderthals as an extinct species that lost. But extinct isn't quite the right word for something that's still quietly running inside almost 8 billion living people. They didn't disappear. They just stopped looking like themselves.